Welcome to Slasher Sunday. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the very beloved You're Next. Probably one of the most loved slasher films of the decade. So I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this one, and a lot of people will be watching this one. So I better not fuck it up. All right, so this is directed by Adam Wingard and written by Simon Barrett. They team up on almost everything they do. Wild to think that Wingard is currently working on the King Kong versus Godzilla movie as we speak. Now, we've got a lot of horror alums in here. We've got A.J. Bowen, we've got Joe Swanberg, we got Amy Semites, we've got Larry Fessenden, we've got Barbara Crampton, we've even got Ty West, okay, the director of House of the Devil and The Innkeepers and The Sacraments, and big Ty West fan. The House of the Devil is like my favorite throwback film, like the 70s, 80s nostalgia homage films. That's like the king of the crop there. I just absolutely adore that film. And he plays a pretty small role here, but it's cool to see him. And then we've even got Rob Moran here from all the Farley Brothers movies. So anytime I see him, I'm going to think of his character in Kingpin. But he's been in like every damn Farley Brothers movie. So that's where I'll always know him from. Now, what this movie has going for it above all else, for me, easily. And I almost feel like this was the excuse to make the movie. Like, they essentially sat down, Adam and Simon there, they sat down and they were like, we want to make up for all of the lame ass decisions Final Girls have made in the past. We just want to make a whole movie just kind of paying back the fans all of those moments where they're yelling at the screen to do this and to do that, and no one ever fucking does it. And to just have like 45 minutes of just finally getting what we've all been waiting for. A final girl who, once she has people down on the ground, she finishes them. A final girl who, although scared at times, because they didn't oversell her, they didn't make her the Terminator or anything, which is exactly what they should have done. She's calculated, and she's smart, and she's vicious, and she never hesitates for one single second to finish any of her opponents. And I couldn't love Erin more. For me, this whole film, the whole reason I love this film, there's other things I like about this film, don't get me wrong, but the reason, anytime I think of You're Next, anytime anyone's like, oh, who's your favorite final girl, anytime final girls get brought up, Erin is like first thought, because this is the character I've always wanted to see. And here's the thing, most final girls, the writers don't have the luxury of their final girl or their final guy or anybody being able to just get rid of or kill the antagonist. But because they were smart, and this is why, yet another piece to why I think that they specifically wrote this movie just to have Erin in it and do what she does, is because there's multiple killers, many different killers for her to dispose of, and you can't do that in Halloween, in Friday the 13th, in any of those movies. There's only one killer. You kill him 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes in, movie's over right then and there. So yeah, you have to have multiple killers if you're going to make a movie like this. And thank you to Wingard and Barrett here for giving us a final girl we deserve, a final girl we earned by sitting through Laurie Strode dropping the knife multiple times, leaving Michael on the ground. It's like, finish this fucking guy. He's not the boogeyman, okay? He's just been left for dead while still alive. Finish the job, Laurie Strode. So if Erin was there, if it was Erin versus Myers, boom. All right, done for. So gotta love her. All right, so we've got this opening scene here where Caitlin from the VHS segments, I've seen this girl a lot. Beautiful girl. She's getting some really shitty sex from Larry Fassinden's character here. And it's like, here's this middle-aged, overweight, very unattractive man with this gorgeous 20-something-year-old girl. And it's like, what? I get it. He's got money. He left his wife for a student, all this and that. But I get it's the money. I mean, that's what it is. But she's sitting there, and it's like, you couldn't find a rich dude that's actually going to please you physically. Like, that girl could get anyone she wants, and it's a damn shame to watch a girl like that shack up with some dude who is giving her nothing at all but money. Who knows? Maybe they are the best of friends, and in bed and maybe that was just one off night. Who knows? But it's still a shame. All right. And then we got the opening kills in this, kind of lame. Honestly, the gore in this movie, meh. It's not really that good. I mean, what's really great in this? Because people will be like, what are you talking about? There's lots of great kills and this and that. There's lots of good ideas for kills. There's lots of good fist-pumping moments, like, yeah, go Aaron. There's moments like that. There's shocking moments. There's sad moments. And there's funny moments and stuff like that. But as far as, like, actual gore, like heads splitting apart, necks, there's a sliced neck. That's old school. That's nothing. That's not gore anymore. That's nothing to me. I need to see limbs coming off. I need to see flesh. I need to see insides of people's bodies. I need to see carnage. And unfortunately, this movie is kind of lacking in that department. The only real, like, shocking kill we get is the blender in the head. But even that is just a prop blender attached to someone's head and blood running down his face. It's not like we see chunks and bits and his brain is coming up out of his head or anything. Like, we don't get any of that stuff. So the movie's actually very weak in that regard. And honestly, I remember when I saw this in theaters, and it was like, I don't think it hit many theaters. I think I had to drive a decent amount to go see this, but I was a little underwhelmed when I saw it. I loved Erin. I absolutely loved her. And because of that, I do love this movie. She's like, the stuff she does in this makes it like a 10 out of 10. The final girl's a 10 out of 10. Everything around her is amazing. The rest is good. And I feel like it could have been elevated by Gore. Like, that's the one key factor here. And that all being said, I don't want to make it seem like it's the only thing, because it's a very, very good movie. It's just, the way people were talking about it, they were talking about it like it was the next thing, and that's just it. Expectations get the best of you. But having watched this again, this is something that if I had never heard of and I watched it tonight, I would be coming here to be like, dude, all I'd really be talking about is the final girl, to be honest. But I would still be kind of praising the shit out of this movie. Why is Swanberg always turned down for sex in every movie I see him in? He's always that, like, creepy boyfriend. And that's the girl who's killed in the beginning with Larry. That's who comes, spoilers for VHS, but that's the girl who comes and gets her girlfriend. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. Ty West really has to dig deep to get into character here as a filmmaker. Swanberg states that commercials are the best these days, and his wife agrees, like, oh, it's all I watch TV for. That's, of course, insane to me, but I was thinking about it, and what he says about it, you really kind of have to tell a story, and you've got to get the point across, and you've got to be able to sell something all in about 30 seconds. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that is a serious talent. I mean, every form of filmmaking, any form of artistry, has its complications. They're very hard, and to think about trying to make a commercial and having to sell something that quick. And, you know, because everyone gets so excited for the Super Bowl commercials and what they're going to come up with this time and this and that. And it's like, man, you have such a short window of time to be able to put your ideas across and to execute them and to also be selling a product as well. Although a lot of commercials, they don't even apply to the product at all. Like you'll be watching something and it'll be this like very dramatic, weird moment. And you're just, it's like this cinematic, dramatic sequence. And then it'll be like Coca-Cola at the end. And you're like, what the fuck does that have to do with Coca-Cola or like Nike or something? And you're like, what did I just watch an ad for? What does that have to do with anything? All right, so Ty West gets an arrow in the head. That kind of sets everything off. And then I love that they, you know, Erin is on the ball like immediately. Like she's instantly awesome. She grabs everyone. She's kind of takes charge of everything almost instantaneously. And she tells everyone to grab a chair and to run across the window to use it as cover. Awesome stuff. Give everyone a shield to run across the room with. Smart girl. Then Amy Semet's character here runs full force out the door. You know something's happening. You don't know what it is. You know it's coming though. And boom. Good thing that was at the height level of her. She seemed pretty damn short. Whereas to where it would be like here on me. So I don't really think it would do all that much. But she gets some like piano wire across the neck. Ugh. Oh, wow. I like that it actually bounces her back and her throat's just slit, because in most movies her head would have come completely off, and that's unbelievably unrealistic. It takes a lot to get someone's head off, or so I've heard. And the husband leaving his wife upstairs alone in the room and just like locks the door. He was just asking for her to get killed. That was idiotic. Like, why the hell would he leave her alone there? And oh man, Erin freaking stabbing the first guy, and then he comes through the thing. She beats him to death with a meat tenderizer. Oh, just amazing. Swanberg's character freaking pulls the arrow out of his back and passes out from the sight of his own blood. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know how I'd react if I pulled something that long out of, you know, my back and saw all the blood coming out. I don't know how I'd react. Now, as cool as the masks might appear, they are very impractical. Kind of reminds me of Django Unchained when they're talking about how they can barely see through the eye holes, and it's all about the, you know, presence of them and this and that. Their peripheral vision would be zero. It would be like this, and you would have absolutely no ability to see any of your surroundings at all. It would put you at a great disadvantage. So there's 3 killers in this who can barely see anything but tunnel vision straight forward. And now the twists, I feel like once you know the twist for sure, it's pretty damn obvious. You know, the way that the family is acting, the brother, his girlfriend, and then her boyfriend, AJ Bowen's character. And the music during some of these sequences, full on 80s synth kind of stuff. You know how much I love that stuff. I don't really have to say anything else about that. We find out that Erin grew up on a survivalist compound, and everyone, you know, the chick who's listening to her was like, really? Oh shit. I like how that she points out, she's like, but I haven't told my boyfriend yet. So that would, you know, make sense to why he brought her and didn't seem to know. Now, did he really have no intention to kill her? Was she supposed to remain unharmed? I think so. I believe that's probably true. But once she started killing people, the plan changed pretty drastically there. It's like, no, we got to get rid of this girl. The look on Swanberg's face when he gets stabbed by his brother, of just like betrayal and shock and surprise, and it's a great look on his face. It's like, what the hell? And he stabs him multiple times with different implements, and that's the point. I mean, the important thing here, and what makes it kind of unique, is in movies, in horror movies, or any movie, usually when the brutality of stabbing comes into play, it's usually, like the Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, when he's stabbing freaking Octavia Spencer's nurse character to death. And he's bringing the knife up and he's brutally, smashing it into her. Yes, that's definitely a brutal sequence. But usually in the stabbing sequences, it's just one knife or one, stabbing weapon, and they're just bringing it down multiple different times, and that doesn't really show the audience how many times they've been stabbed. And in this, he uses like 6 different screwdrivers and whatever else he can stick into him there. So when he kind of comes back and he has them all sticking out of him, imagine actually getting to see the stab wounds every single time with the knife still in there. That would just make the stabbing scene much more gruesome to look at. So I like that. You don't see it often. I have seen it for sure, but I just happen to notice here. I want to point that out, that because you pull the hilt and the blade out and you put it right back in multiple times, it adds to the brutality when you can still see every single one of them in his body. And it's almost comical that he has so many blades stuck in him when it kind of pans back, but at the same time, because it's his brother and how sad it is. Now, Erin kind of turns into Kevin McAllister here, and she's got like booby traps all over the house. And there, the guy steps down on here's where his mask came into play. He couldn't see below him. If he didn't have the mask on, he would have clearly saw those things right there. I don't know why she put him out so far, because the second one didn't even do shit. But the first one, that's the one that got him. And, oh man, I've done that. I actually did that in the backyard of my house in Huntington Beach when I was a kid. I was back there and I stepped onto a nail that went up, like, into my foot, like through the top of my foot, and yanked it out. Awful. Just a horrible memory that you can't even function, so he'd be totally screwed. I like this girl telling her boyfriend to fuck her on next to his mom's dead body, and he's just like, what the hell's wrong with you? And she's like, you never want to do anything interesting. Typical women, man. Always trying. What would have been great in that sequence, it would probably been too far for mainstream audiences, if when she left him, because this is what I probably would have wrote, just to kind of elevate it to that next level of fucked up. As soon as he left the room and she was kind of sat there on the bed, frustrated and alone, she would have laid back and took his mom's dead hand and masturbated with it. That would have just elevated the scene really far. Maybe they put it in there and they had to cut it out. I don't know. So we find out, of course, this is all for the inheritance. And so Erin goes to town and she stabs this dude in the head. Then the other guy comes in. When she has the axe in the window after she stabs him in the head and she sits there, best shot in the whole movie. And then Swanberg kind of comes out and distracts him, and she comes out and stabs him, and he runs off. I think maybe those are out of order. I think she doesn't matter. Yeah, it is out of order, but it is what it is. And then she beats the other guy to death with a log after she kind of sets up this little flashing camera there to distract him. I don't know why the hell he would fall for something like that, but that guy didn't look all that bright. And then the whole kitchen fight sequence is fantastic. As I said, I would have liked more gore, but the scene's brutal enough. The guy gets a blender in his head, and the girl gets a freaking knife in the head. And yet again, as I said, no hesitation. Then she finds out that her boyfriend was in on this, and he tries talking to her rationally, tries to sell her on it. You were supposed to be the witness, baby. We can go off. We can run away together. What about a marriage? What about $500,000? He's offering her everything under the sun. There's no way that she can trust this guy. You're sitting there. You're like, please don't fall for it, Erin. You've been so amazing the whole movie. Please, please, please. And then boom, like right in the side of the neck. Because what did he say? Where did he fuck up? If you're a guy, or a girl, if you date girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where did he fuck up? That's who I'm asking here. He fucked it like she was fine. She probably would have killed him anyways. But where the line was drawn is when he said he loved her. That ultimate betrayal there, that manipulation, like, wow, that was it. Hell hath no fury, right? Like, as soon as he said I love you, it was just like, boom. And he's like, why? And she's like, why the fuck not? Great final line there. Cop shoots her, and then he gets Kevin McAllister, boom, right there. And it's run, great stuff. I'm so happy to see that she didn't die from getting shot. It didn't turn into the Night of the Living Dead thing. But yeah, she's just amazing. She makes this whole damn movie for me. I like some of the characters for sure, but just watching Aaron go to town on all these guys is what makes this movie for me. So anyway, guys, there you go. I gotta get to bed. It is uber late, but yeah. Is there anyone who doesn't like this movie? I'm sure there is, but I haven't met many. It definitely seems to be loved by most. And there you go. So there's more Wingard films that I want to cover, but we'll see what happens. Adios.